Very happy with the offense, defense, special teams. It was a team effort, the coaching staff, the players, just a total collective team effort by everybody. To go up there in the Chicago Bears Stadium and play at Soldier Field for our players is big. Anytime, stick with them for a lifetime. I was amazed myself at, that was my first time, and I've been in a lot of NFL stadiums, but I had never, played at Soldier Field or even coached at Soldier Field, and to be able to see it and then taking the young men there the day before and take pictures, and it was just a great trip, and it's always good to get the win. Question?
What do you see in Liberty?
Good. They starting to click. I was, first two games, I was like, what was going on? But I started to see Hugh Freeze's trademark against Buffalo. And they got a kid number 11. He's a big-time NFL player. 6'4", 225 pounds. He's a man. And I could see him going in the second or the third round, and might even late first round.
Was it a receiver? Or?
A receiver. He's have over 20 catches with almost 400 yards already. He's a player. Defensive, they got a kid number 11. They got two number 11s. Kid had 3 sacks against Buffalo, about 8 tackles. Just played a phenomenal game. This is a good football team. The quarterback's name is Buckshot. He throws the ball well. Just a good player. But then, come on, you're talking about Hugh Freeze. He did a legendary coach in the Memphis high school system. Then he goes to Ole Miss and beats Nick Saban consecutive times. This guy is just to me, he's one of the most innovative minds offensively in college football. That's how you don't go down to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. That's what he's done. This is just an unbelievable coach. Good man though. We've been friends for a while. Actually, he just texted me. He actually just texted me about, let me see here. He just texted me about 11:17. So, and we got a great relationship. And and he was he's a good guy. He loves his kids, his players, he's a family guy. It's great for me to have opportunity just to coach against him. In Liberty, you can't say enough about, the president, Jerry Falwell, and the way he done built those facilities up there. Beautiful school. I grew up 39 miles away from that school. My first coaching job was 31 miles down the road, Gretna High School. It's just beautiful. They do a great job. Phenomenal program.
When you think about that, this is sort of a homecoming for you.
Yeah, I got over 100 people. It's coming.
Wow, really?
Yeah, already.
Knowing Freeze the way you do, I guess it wasn't a surprise to you. His coaching from a hospital bed, in the press box, and I guess they've set up some sort of a special chair for him because of the health problems that he had during the offseason. Yeah,
that just says a lot about him. That just says a lot about how engaged he is, and how much he loves his players, and how committed he is to coaching. How many guys would do that? I just say that's phenomenal for Coach Freeze to go out there and do that, because a lot of people are not that dedicated, and that's, to me, I look at it as he's very dedicated to that program, and getting that program the way he needs to be. And I say I'm very proud of the job Coach Hugh Freeze is doing.
I promise this will be the last time I mention the words Virginia Union, but were you pretty impressed with the way the guys responded to that during the week and then played against Howard?
You can mention Virginia Union all you want to, Dave. Dave, I said it before, it could be a blessing in disguise. Some of the toughest things that happen to you in life will make you better. And I'm just overjoyed the way we bounced back, to go up to the Soldier Field and to play like the way we did. A lot of young men are not mature enough to move on. We could have kept carrying that with us and took a loss, but we didn't. The guys reached down inside and they overcame it, and they responded. And that lets me know that we got a team that can bounce back. And at the end of the day, for a year, we are the real HU.
talk about the way the secondary played in that game, because they got a lot of, it was a big volume of work. He held Newton 5 of 54. Varsian was tied for the team leading tackles, and then he had 2 big interceptions, one from Angulo, one from Valdez.
Yeah.
And Christian got a lot of work in because he was covering Kyle Anthony, and they seemed hell-bent on throwing the ball to Anthony all day.
Yeah. I mean, Christian's a special guy. Just away from football, and when we was at Cincinnati together, we got relationships. I've seen him come to Hampton University and get closer to God. I think that's been the biggest thing that I'm more proud of him, and the thing that, we talk about even on his Twitter page about staying focused on God. And I think that he's getting rewarded for it now because, he didn't get to play it, hardly none barely at all at Cincinnati. And now God has opened the door for him. And he's answering the bell, and he's been phenomenal. Markel is growing. He's getting there. Markel is coming off an ACL tear, and that's tough. That's tough because you're always in the back of your mind that it could happen again, and so it becomes a mental thing. But he's navigating through it. He's getting there, and I'm starting to see some of the things I wanted to see from him. I saw him take the field yesterday before he went on the field. I saw him get on his knees and pray before he come to practice. And I'm very excited about this. It's not that I'm trying to get all spiritually, but I'm telling you the growth of these young men that I see, and that's what I'm proud of.
We were talking about this last week with Jadakiss, that these relationships you formed elsewhere, that you've kept and were able to bring people here when the opportunity came. There's a lot of them when you look at the roster. That's pretty special, I imagine.
Well, I mean, I think you know me. I met you, and your father-in-law gave me a book. I mean, it's just me knowing people, man. And if you get to know me, I think that, the personal side is relationships are meaningful. It's just like a young man over there, Darren Butts, recruiting him. And, when I saw him run the ball, most people would have thought about the way he blasted and took off on that 70-yard touchdown. But I thought about, wow, what we talked about his mother passing away and me going to McDonald's twice to see him at work when I was recruiting him. On that, going home, I used to drive back to Greenville to Suffolk and stop at the McDonald's and sit in there and talk to him about the passing, his mother passing away. And I know it happened back a while, but he was still, it's still always in his heart. And I just was like, wow, look, she's up top looking at him. She'd be so proud of him to see him be able to run like that. And he always talked about the different shoes he had on. And I was like, maybe them shoes right there, we need to give him another pair. And he just signed his mother's name and keep them with his first touchdown. That's what I'm big on relationships. Once you're in my family, you're in my family. That's just the way I have. I've always been like that.
That was a pretty big touchdown. It's sort of...
It was a spark. It initiated us. It initiated everything. It was almost like taking lighter fluid and putting on charcoal. That's exactly what Butts' touchdown did for us. And that was something that was well needed.
And his kickoff return wasn't too bad either.
I just want to see some more of them.